Hello everyone. So today's video is about demonstrative pronouns and adjectives and the special IUS adjectives from Chapter 9 of Wheelock's Latin. The three demonstrative pronouns and adjectives are hic, hike, hock, illa, alla, allud, and esta, asta, astud. So why don't we get started? Today I'm going to teach you not just about how to translate these particular pronouns and adjectives, but also how they decline and how to identify them. That's a big one. So a couple of preliminary words. Pronouns replace nouns. That is the function of a pronoun, okay? In Latin, as in English, there are several types of pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns, as you can imagine from the fact that it's called a demonstra, right? Demonstro, to point out. Demonstrative pronouns point something out, okay? So therefore, they translate as this, as in the case of hic, or that, as in the cases of illa and esta. The demonstrative pronouns can be used also as adjectives, and I'll show you how I mean in a little bit. And here is the thing about demonstrative pronouns and adjectives. The declension of hic, hike, hock, illa, alla, allud, and esta, asta, astud mostly follows the first-second declension pattern. However, the genitive singular and the dative singular are going to be irregular, so those are what we want to pay attention to. Okay, so here's our first pronoun, hic, hike, hock, which means this in the singular or these in the plural. You will notice that the nominative for hic, hike, hock is pretty weird, admittedly. But after we get through that, we start seeing some familiar patterns, okay? The IUS ending in the genitive, that is something you're going to see repeated with the demonstrative adjectives and the IUS adjectives that we'll talk about a little bit later. A long I usually appears, this one is a short I, but an I appears in the dative for demonstrative adjectives and the IUS adjectives. Okay, and basically with hic, hike, hock, you have to memorize it, okay? So, going through the nominatives in the singular, down through the ablatives, and then to the plural nominatives through the plural ablatives. Hic, hike, hock, huius, 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 huik, 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 hunk, hunk, hock, hoke, hock, hoke, he, hi, hike, horum, harum, horum, hees, 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 hos, has, hike, remember your neuter law, hees, hees, hees. Okay, so, just so you can see here, e, orum, ees, os, ees, that is a familiar pattern to you for the second declension masculine plural, okay? I, arum, ees, as, ees, that is a familiar pattern to you. Admittedly, the singular is a little cattywampus, so you just have to memorize this. For the most part, the pronoun is going to translate this man, this woman, this thing, these men, these women, these things, okay? And then on through, of this man, of this woman, of this thing, to or for this man, to or for this woman, to or for this thing, so on and so forth. Remember that these can also be used as adjectives. So I could have this as the same gender numbering case as a noun. So for example, liber, which is nominative masculine singular, if I wanted to say this book, I would say hic liber. So make sure you are aware of that. Our next pronoun, illa, alla, allud, means that in the singular, those in the plural. You can see the first-second declension pattern here maybe a little bit more easily than you do with hic, hike, hock. But again, notice the irregular genitive singular and the irregular dative singular. So Ilias, 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 of that man, of that woman, of that thing. Ali, 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 to or for that man, to or for that woman, to or for that thing. I recognize that this E in the nominative masculine singular and the D in the nominative neuter singular are a little weird, but again, just memorization. Allah, 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 this man, this woman, this thing. Ili, Ali, Allah. These men, these women, these things. Now, the next pronoun, esta, here we go, esta, esta, estud, translates the same way as that in the singular, those in the plural. However, when you use this word, you're using it with a negative connotation. Okay, this is important. Negative connotation. You are saying that boy, right? That man, that woman, that thing. So you're using it with this negative derogatory feeling towards it, and you'll notice it declines the exact same way as a la la lud. You just trade out the st, right? So esta, esta, estud, estius, 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 esti, 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 and then we go back to the more familiar pattern of the first second declension that you are used to. Okay. Whoopsies. Went a little far there. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I want you guys to push pause, take a minute, and write these out in your notes and translate these pronouns and then as they're used as adjectives, okay? So hic, huic, illis, ilarum, istud, isti, has portas, illa pericula, isto tyranno. Okay. The last thing we have to talk about are the special IUS adjectives. There are 9 of these adjectives, okay, 9 special IUS adjectives, and they are special because they are first, second declension adjectives, but they have an irregular ending in the genitive and the dative singular. Just like the demonstrative pronouns, they have an IUS ending in the genitive and a long I ending in the dative. So in every other way, they function like a first, second declension adjective, except for their genitive and their dative singulars. An easy way to remember which 9 adjectives make up this pattern is remembering the acrostic unus nauta, because those are the first letters, nauta, of the 9 adjectives. So, what are the 9? Unus, una, unum, which means one. Nullus, nulla, nullum, no or none. Ullus, ulla, ullum, any. Solus, sola, solum, only or alone. Neuter, neutra, neutrum, neither. Alias, alia, aliad, other. Uter, utra, utrum, either. Totus, tota, totem, entire. And alter, altera, alterum, which means another or the other of two. I put 2 little asterisks next to alias, alia, aliad because I wanted to remind myself to mention that this has a particularly irregular genitive singular in that it has the same one as alter, altera, alterum, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, so let's look at an example, a sample declension of this. So you'll see ullus, ulla, ullum, right? You would expect this to be us, e, o, o, but instead it's us, eus, e, o. Eus, e, es, e, o, right? And then, of course, in the plural, it's completely regular. It's exactly what you think, right? E, orum, es, os, es, I, arum, es, as, es, orum, es, es. Okay, so just you have to be very careful about this genitive and dative singular and know that these particular 9 adjectives are going to have a very irregular ending. Now, take a look at this. Alias, alia, alium, which is another, switches to alterius in the genitive, and it's because if it were just alias, 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 it would be the same as the masculine nominative singular, and that'd be terribly confusing. So it doesn't have its own genitive singular ending. It borrows from the related word alter, ultra, ultrum. But then it goes back to the long I in the dative, so alii, 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 exactly as you would expect. And again, as always, a first, second declension adjective, as you would expect in every other form. Okay, so I would like for you guys to take a moment to write down morbus, loca, fratri, and sororus. Some of these might be found in the Chapter 9 vocab, not just Chapter 8. And I want you to match that with morbus, these with loca, and then two of our new IUS adjectives, either and another, with fratri and sororus. Same gender number in case. All right, ladies, that's what we have for today. Please bring in these notes tomorrow. I want to see how you did with those two exercises that were in the video, and I hope you have a great night. Ciao.